This is the Louie T Network.
Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to lockdown coverage, week number 5 in the National Football League. The Baltimore Ravens on the road taking on the Derek Carless Oakland Raiders. And this was a get-right game for the Ravens. I just figured the Raiders would be able to stymie one of the stinkiest, funkiest offenses in all of the National Football League. And they made this offense look very viable. And for the Raiders, same shit, different toilet. Your defense just isn't any good. And this was further proof of that. Derek Carr, no Derek Carr, doesn't matter. You were still going to give it up. And if the Raiders were going to win this game, they were going to have to win it in a shootout. And maybe if Derek Carr plays, you win this game in a shootout, like you've done in the past versus the Ravens. I think 2 years ago, when they had Steve Smith Sr., you beat them like 35-31 in a shootout. It's possible. You could have done that. But why? They're the Ravens. They can't score. Why do you need to win in a shootout? That's a testament to just how poor this defense is. And anytime you've got... what the hell is that big corner's name that just gets roasted every time he's on the field that you got from Kansas City? Boy, is he garbage. Man, did you waste your money on him. You know you guys want your receipt back. Yeah, well, I told you, there's no take-backs. There's no exchanges. There's no refunds. You get what you pay for. And he's been straight trash. But in any event, forget about the losers in this game. How about the team that got it done and scored 30 points? You saw that coming from the Ravens. Kudos to them for getting it done and turning the offensive faucet back on, because it had been off for weeks. Someone finally paid the bill, the water bill, for this Ravens football team, and they were able to turn the offensive faucet back on, and they got it going. And I've said this a million times. Mike Wallace is a one-trick pony. Well, hey, Oakland, don't let Mike Wallace get you with that one trick. But you did. And that's the mark of a bad football team on the defensive side of the football. But in any event, we'll get to all of that and more in this breakdown. But first, if you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. We're changing the game. I want you to help us do that by simply hitting the subscribe button, becoming a member of the Louie T Network. I've got a number of social media platforms. There's Instagram, there's Twitter, there's Facebook. All of the links to those different social media platforms of mine are down in the description, along with this donation link to PayPal. If you would like to be a Louie T Network donator, this is how you do it. If you are gracious enough and capable of donating, please do. We're trying to take this channel to the next level. And the best way that I can do that is to get contributions from viewers like you. And so, again, all of these links are down in the description below. So go ahead and make use of that. If you can give, please do. If you can't, as I've said a number of times, just continue to support the channel by liking the videos and sharing them to the masses. With that being said, let's jump into this breakdown. And what we want to do is we want to start with the winning team, because that's what we do here. We deal with the winners first, and then we let the losers worry about losing. So we'll do that here with this Ravens football team getting it done in this game, 30-17 over the Raiders. I thought it was a great start to the game. Like, they couldn't have asked for a better start to the game. A team that's been struggling to score points. They go out and on the first play of the game, first possession they score, but the first play set the tone for the game. Mike Wallace, 57 yards or so down the sidelines, deep in the Raiders territory, setting up the 2-yard Vince Mailey touchdown run to get the scoring started for the Ravens. When's the last time the Ravens scored a touchdown in the first quarter of a ball game? When's the last time the Ravens scored a touchdown on the first possession, the opening possession of a ball game? That's probably the better question. They've probably scored a touchdown in the first quarter of a game at some point this season. When's the last time they did it on the opening possession and it looked that efficient? That's the real question. That set the tone for this game. Then you come out on the ensuing possession and the defense creates a turnover, forces a fumble, Jimmy Smith scoops and scores. And just like that, the one problem you thought you might have in this game, which was scoring points, you've already put 14 up. And with this defense, the way that they usually play, that 14 points going to be pretty tough to beat this Ravens team because it's early in the first quarter. They're probably going to score more points. And in case you forgot, they got one of the best, if not the best, field goal kicker in the league in Just Incredible, a.k.a. Justin Tucker. So if they get even remotely close to field goal range, he's going to bust down a couple field goals. So with 14 already on the board, not even midway through the first quarter, they're going to at least get to 23. They're at least going to get 3 field goals the remainder of the game. They're going to be pretty tough to beat without Derek Carr. So you did them a huge solid if you're the Raiders by giving up the deep ball, giving them some confidence early, allowing them to convert on a third down and Vince Mailey with the touchdown on the jet sweep, and then giving up a fumble on the scoop and score. We'll get to that when we get to the Raiders, but nonetheless, great start to the game for the Ravens. I mean, they couldn't have dreamed up a better scenario in which they started this game. 14 right off the bat, set the tone for the game, allowed them to get comfortable, allowed them to have confidence on the road. And I thought that confidence kind of just swelled as the game progressed. And they knew that they could win this game just on the defensive side of the football at that point. Now it was up to the offense to not piss it away. And the offense not only didn't piss it away, but they actually played well throughout. Mike Wallace made another big catch later on in the game, a couple of big catches. I thought his catch on the third down after the Raiders cut it to a one-score game at 24-17, I thought that was the biggest play of the game, arguably, because if the Raiders get a stop there, they get the football back. They had all the momentum. The crowd was involved. They had the momentum. They had just scored a touchdown. They were feeling good about themselves. I thought they were going to have a chance to maybe tie this game up. And instead, you put a dagger right in their heart with the crossing route to Mike Wallace, who picks up a huge chunk of yardage, puts the Ravens back in scoring position where they would tack on a field goal and later get another one to put this game out of reach. So I just thought that was outstanding by this offense. They stuck with the run game, even though it was not uber effective. Javoris Buck Allen had 21 carries in this game. I'm not a big Buck Allen fan, but he ran tough in this football game. I'm more of an Alex Collins guy, but he's got a fumbling problem. And if you can't hold on to the rock in this league, you can't get the rock. So I don't blame them for kind of casting him aside a little bit and just relegating him to special teams duties. But nonetheless, they got it done offensively in this game. That was impressive that they were able to spread it around. Macklin got a couple of touches. Anytime they're able to do what they did in this game, which is drive the football down the field, they become a more dangerous football team because it opens up all the things that they like to do underneath. And so hitting that deep ball on the very first play really opened up some things for them later on in the ball game. And I thought it was great execution by the Ravens offensively throughout the majority of this football game. 30 points for them is a ton. It's a lot in this league in general, but for the Ravens, that's like 100 points for most teams. I mean, they don't score points. To see them put up 30, that's saying a lot about their offensive execution and the lack thereof defensively by this Raiders football team. It also helps when you scoop and score a fumble. That helps as well, too. You go to their defense, and I talked about the scoop and score on the first possession of the game for the Raiders, and how that really ignited this football team as well after the offense went out and did what they did. And I think the two feed off of each other. That's why this Ravens offense needs to be better, because this defense feeds off the energy of the offense. If they see the offense go down the field and score, they're like, okay, that's right. Let's go, offense. Now let's go out and get a stop. Let's create a turnover. Get them back to football so they can score again. And it's that kind of energy that defensive teams need. They don't want to keep going out on the field after a 3 and out and having to exert their will all the time. They want to score points. They want the offense to score points. They want to know that we don't have to do it by ourselves. We don't have to be perfect for us to go out and win this game. And by them going out and scoring on that opening possession, I thought it allowed the defense to just go out and play. And I thought they did that in this game. Now, I thought Michael Crabtree had himself a good ball game. And if he didn't slip and fall, and if E.J. Mann was a little bit more accurate on that throw, I think he scores another touchdown. So it wasn't all good from this Ravens defense, but they were flying around. They looked like the Ravens defense that earlier in the season were stifling teams and creating turnovers. And you want to look more like that team and less like the team we've seen over the last couple of weeks struggle to stop anybody and give up points left and right. So this was a lot more impressive on the part of the Ravens. This was a collective team win, and this was what they needed. They needed a game like this. After the debacle over in London and getting spanked by the Pittsburgh Steelers last week, they needed a get-right game. This was that for them. Against a reeling, ailing Raiders football team, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. And the way to take advantage of an opportunity that was placed in your lap if you are the Baltimore Ravens. I didn't think you had it in you. I had zero confidence in this team's ability to go on the road and get it done. But the offense showed up. They were sharp. Flacco was his sharpest, by far, not even close in this game. This looked like the Flacco that you know I love, a.k.a. Joe Cool. He looks like more like that guy in this game than the guy that has been struggling, throwing for 8 yards in a half and 38 yards in a game. He looked more like the Joe Flacco that took his team to a Super Bowl and won it back in 2012. So this was impressive. But can you do this week in, week out? I still have my doubts and my reservations. But this was much needed. Now, don't look, but the Ravens are tied in first place with the Steelers, who are struggling at 3-2. And so, voila. After 2 weeks of misery, you get a win and you're back in first place. So this Ravens team, they may be okay. They may not be okay. We'll find out soon enough. But this was a big win, a needed one, and they got it done in dominant fashion. They did allow this thing to get close at 24-17, but they also put the clamps down and put this game away when they needed to as well. You go to the Raiders side of things, and we'll start with the defense because I was very disappointed in the defense. That's where this game was lost for me. I didn't think E.J. Manuel played that poorly, to be honest with you. No, was he great? No. But he wasn't terrible. He didn't turn it over. He didn't make monumental mistakes. He gave you opportunities. This defense didn't give you a chance in this game, though. That was the problem. The defense gave it up early. The defense gave it up often. And even though you weren't terrible against the run, you allowed them to stay relatively balanced in this game. You allowed Mike Wallace to get you. Who allows Mike Wallace to get them anymore? Nobody allows Mike Wallace to have 3 catches for 133 yards. Nobody does that anymore, except you guys. Like, that was pathetic. Don't let Mike Wallace get you. You know what Mike Wallace is about. Don't let him get you. And, oh, by the way, you're not getting enough pressure on the quarterback. Everybody's on to your Khalil Mack situation. They know he's the one guy that can hurt us. So guess what? Let's not let 52 hurt us. Let's chip him, let's double team him, and let's make these other bums get us. Well, guess what? These other bums aren't getting pressure on the quarterback. So guys like Joe Flacco, who are struggling, who if you put pressure on them will do dumb stuff, guess what? He gets to survey the field, go through his progressions, and make smart decisions and accurate throws with the football. That's how you get sliced and diced on defense. And this Raiders defense that we thought was starting to turn a corner earlier in the season with wins against Tennessee and the Jets, this defense stinks still. Watched the Redskins carve them up. We watched the Broncos. They didn't carve them up, but they did enough. And then we watched the Ravens, who can't score against anybody, light you up like a Christmas tree. So I'm really disappointed in this Raiders defense because if you were going to win this game, knowing that your starting quarterback wasn't in the lineup, you're going to need the defense to play well against a struggling Ravens offense, and you couldn't hold up your end of the bargain. You go to the offense in this game. Where the hell is Amari Cooper? Anybody seen that guy? He's on a milk carton right now. Let's put an APB out on Amari Cooper because this guy looks like a shell of himself right now. And I've heard people throw around the term overrated. I didn't want to buy into it, but Amari Cooper right now looks like an overrated wide receiver. Your best receiver is Michael Crabtree, and it's not even close right now. Where the hell is Amari Cooper at? And anyway, this is a team that, to me, just needs more balance. You brought in Marshawn Lynch. You were excited about that. He's not doing much of anything. His only real value is when you get in the red zone. Jalen Richard didn't have one of his better games in this game. You got to be more balanced if you're the Raiders. You got to run it better. You can't miss opportunities when they present themselves, like that Crabtree potential touchdown. Crabtree did slip and fall, but I don't even think he was going to get there had he stayed on his feet. I think E.J. Manuel overshot him. Jared Cook Jr., I realize now why every team that gets him is disappointed. Because they see the talent, they're tantalized with the talent, they're teased with the talent, and then he does stupid boneheaded stuff, like fumbled on the second play of the game and it leads to a touchdown. Or drops a wide open pass on a third down that leads to a punt. Yeah, he does things like that hurt you in this game. And that's Jared Cook in a nutshell. He can be great, he can be good, he can be bad. And I think you got bad Jared Cook. I'm not even going to give him good because he fumbled and that led directly to a Ravens touchdown early in this ball game, and he dropped the third down pass that was right there. So he was bad in this game. This team isn't good enough to overcome mistakes, turnovers, and missed opportunities. Not when the defense is going to play the way that they did in this game. You're just not good enough. And it wasn't shocking to me after this game was over to hear your head coach right after this game was over, literally 5 minutes after this game was over, Derek Carr's playing next week. You're damn right he's playing next week. This season is going down fast. And the only way to salvage this thing and steady the ship is to get the captain of the yacht back inside this boat. And you need the 4-car back at the helm and in the saddle because this team is struggling. And you need somebody to stabilize this team that right now seems like they're flatlining. And the guy that can do that is Derek Carr. So it does not shock me that right after this game was over, without hesitation, Jack Del Rio says, oh, Derek Carr's playing next week. You're damn right he's playing next week. Because the Chiefs aren't losing and the Broncos are a damn good football team. So if you want to keep pace, you better start winning some football games. 3 in a row, it's a nasty, bitter taste in your mouth. And you got to get it out as soon as possible. And giving it up on defense the way you did in this game and turning it over on the offensive side like you did in this game isn't how you turn things around if you're the Oakland Raiders. Ravens get it done on the road 30-17 to end their 2-game skid. Get back over 500 at 3-2 on the season with this win. And also get back into a first-place tie with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC North Division. Meanwhile, the Raiders dropped their 3rd straight game after starting the season 2-0. They're now 2-3, and they're struggling. They're reeling, and they need a game like this, like the Ravens had. They need their own get-back game, get-on-track game. They need one quick, fast, and in a hurry as they let this one slip through their fingers here at home versus the Ravens. Let's get to any comments that may be out there from this game. Andrew Kim says, the Ravens offensive line played so well, hoping it continues. Gave running backs big holes. Stanley owned Mack. He got help. I'm not going to sit here and act like he was dominating by himself. I saw them chipping Khalil Mack and giving him some help. But bottom line is, it doesn't matter how you block Khalil Mack. You just need to block Khalil Mack because none of those other guys are going to get consistent pressure on your quarterback. And that's what you did in this game. And that's why Joe Flacco was afforded the time that he was. And if you're going to run the ball, run it away from Khalil Mack. He's a dominant run defender just like he is a pass defender. Run it away from him and you'll have success. Your boss says, Raiders defense improved just a bit this year. Thus, the reason why they sucked yesterday was our number 1 corner was out with a concussion and our rookie was also out. Yeah, I understand that. I saw number 21 in the game, Sean Smith. I saw Sean Smith's garbage ass out there. That really hurt you guys big time because they were able to go up top and do some things to you, and that was pathetic. And I just assumed defensively you'd be better. I would have loved to have known that neither one of your corners were going to play in the game. I knew Emerson was going to be out. I didn't know Conley wasn't going to play either. So that hurt you big time. Your boss says, what do you think about Amari Cooper? That man is playing horrible the last 2 games. 1 catch for 8 yards last game. I told you, I don't know what's going on with him, but he's having trouble catching the football. That was a problem for him in his rookie season. It wasn't as much a problem last year. Well, it's back with a vengeance because he's dropping a ton of balls and he's not getting open. So, and when he does get open, he's not getting targets. And quarterbacks lose confidence in you when you don't win consistently, and when you do win and you drop the football, they lose confidence in you as well. But we'll see if the 4 car can come back and instill confidence in Amari Cooper. Right now, he's struggling. The Mister says, here we go again, Lou. Another shit week of picks and upsets. I think you may have cursed me as the new Jeff Fisher for real, shaking my head. Hey, man, the league been crazy. The league has been crazy, but you still got to find a way to get it done. I haven't been clean neither, man. It's a struggle for a lot of people. The Mister says, and while we all shitted on the Ravens, let's be honest, they have every bit of a damn chance to win the division, and I think they will. Yeah, they got a shot because they play defense. But if their offense can even give you a semblance of what we saw on Sunday, you damn right they got a shot. But I don't think that this is their offense. I just think the Raiders' defense was really bad. So we'll see if this offense is gaining confidence and Joe Flacco is finally getting into a rhythm after missing all of training camp and basically all of the preseason. We'll see if he's getting into a rhythm now, and if this offensive line can start to gel with some of the parts that they had moving around, see if they can start to get into a little bit of the rhythm themselves. Maybe they will have something, but if they struggle on offense the way we've seen them struggle this year, I don't care how good their defense is, I don't think they're going to win the division. Deron Johnson says, Allen and Collins can run better each week, and will the Ravens beat the Bears next week? They got a shot to beat the Bears. The Bears aren't a good football team. We're going to see what Mitchell Trubisky does tonight. That's the big news for tonight, and what everybody's looking forward to is the rookie's getting his opportunity. You better hope he doesn't light it up tonight, because if he does, he's going to go into that game next week versus the Ravens ultra confident, and that's not what you want. The Mister says, one more thing, Lou. Do you think Marshawn Lynch is just collecting a paycheck? Yeah, you're damn right he is. He fleeced the Raiders. He got over on his hometown team because they are not getting what they envisioned when they signed him on the dotted line. He's barely touching the football 15 times a game. It's not like he's averaging 5 yards a tote. You know, in most games, he's quiet. And in the fourth quarter, most fourth quarters, this man's got a skull cap on and chilling with no helmet on, like it's a preseason game. Yeah, I think that he got over on them cats. But it is what it is. Savage Raven says, 2 busted up teams clash and the stronger one won. But honestly, I didn't think we could have won this one. I thought you could win. I just didn't think you would win. And you did get it done, so that was impressive. Deron Johnson says, I miss Brandon Williams on the defense. Man, we need him back. You definitely do. He stops everything in the middle of that defense. And he's a huge part of what you guys do. Blackbird Blitz says, do you use excellent offensive execution and the Ravens in the same sentence? Are you on that Mad Dog 2020 tonight? You just came from the winery last week, bruh. Stay with the good stuff. Oh, no, I'm good. Yeah, I just used that in the same sentence because they actually went out and executed, which is what we're not accustomed to seeing with this Ravens team. But they did that in this game, which shocked the hell out of me. And so that just kind of goes back to the original point that the Raiders struggle still on defense. And yeah, they had guys out in the secondary. I don't care. Find a way to get it done against this putrid Ravens offense. They weren't able to do so. Silver V says, man, that's some bad D in Oakland. Derek Carr will have to be in shootouts when he returns. He probably won't win games because Cooper and Cooks got the drops. Who the hell is? Oh, you talking about Jared Cook? Yeah, man. Both of them boys will drop the ball on you quick, fast, and in a hurry. So we'll see what happens. I've got confidence that Derek Carr can come back and try to turn things around in Oakland. This team didn't just all of a sudden forget how to play offense. They just need their general back in the saddle, and I think they'll get that next week. Bernard543 says the Raiders are embarrassing right now. The whole coaching staff is garbage. I thought they could have done some different things coaching staff-wise, but we'll see. Bernard543 says they let Sean Smith not only get burnt, not once, but twice. How do you not adjust? They need to see it twice to believe it or what? I said the same thing. Don't put him on Mike Wallace. I would have rather took my chances with your other corner, the one out of Ohio. I always forget his damn name, but the one that be returning punts sometimes. I would have took my chances with him on Mike Wallace. Sean Smith gets burnt by everybody. But in any event, it is what it is. Ravens go into Oakland and get a much-needed victory, 30-17, get to 3-2 on the season, and now are in a first-place tie with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC North. Meanwhile, the Raiders continue their struggles. They lose their third straight game, and now they are in third place in this division, and only one game up on the 1-4 Chargers at this point. So it's a struggle for this Raiders football team, but good news is the silver lining in this cloud and the silver and black clouds that we see up in the sky for this Raiders football team is to get their general-in-chief and commander back next week in the 4-car, Derek Carr. And if there's one thing that they could definitely use right now, it's a pick-me-up on the offensive side of football via Derek Carr. And so we'll see if that helps them next week try to get a win and snap this 3-game skid. That's going to do it for a lockdown coverage, Week 5 edition. Thank you for joining me throughout the day. That's going to lead us up to Monday Night Football, and we're finally going to see Mitchell Trubisky tonight. I wasn't in favor of the move. We'll see if it pays them off huge dividends or not. In any event, we'll all be glued to the television to watch the rookie and see what he is made of versus the Minnesota Vikings and a little bit of NFC North family business. You know how the family do it. In any event, I'm your man, Louie T. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie T Network. You'll see this face up in your space a little bit later on for Monday Night Football overtime. Until then, enjoy the game, enjoy the festivities, have a good one. Come back and join me for Monday Night Football overtime. You know where to find me. I'll see you then.